Aya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to ISKCON Detroit Devasodhan Mandir Shrimadbhagavatam morning class. So today we are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 13, titled Dhritarashtra Quits Home, the final text of the chapter, text 60.
Iti
Uktatharuhat
Uktataruhat
Swargam Iti Uktataruhat Swargam
Ityuktataruhat Swargam
Iti Uktataruhat Swargam
Ityuktataruhat Swargam
Nārada Satumburu
Nārada Sahatunguru
Nārada Satumburu
Nārada Sahatunguru
Yudhishthiro Vachastasya
Yudhishthiro Vachastasya
Yudhishthiro Vachastasya
Yudhishthiro Vachastasya
Hridi Kritva Chachuta
Vedi Kritva Jahachucha
Hridi Kritva Chachuta
Vedi Kritva Jahachucha
Iti Uktataruhat Swargam
Ityuktataruhat Swargam
Nārada Satumburu
Nārada Sahatunguru
Yudhishthiro Vachastasya
Yudhishthiro
Hridi Kritva Ajahatsucha
Vedi Kritva Jahachucha Ityuktataruhat Swargam
Iti Uktataruhat Swargam
Nārada Sahatunguru
Nārada Satumburu
Yudhishthiro Vachastasya
Yudhishthiro Vachastasya
Vedi Kritva Jahachucha
Hridi Kritva Jahatsucha. Let us go word by word. Iti,
Iti
thus.
Tas
Uktva,
Uktva
having addressed.
having addressed
Ata,
Atha
thereafter.
thereafter
Aruhat,
Aruhat
ascended.
ascended
Swargam,
Swargam
into outer space.
into outer space.
Nārada,
Nārada,
the great sage Nārada,
the great sage Nārada,
Saha,
Shaha,
along with
along with
Tumburu,
Tumburu,
his stringed instrument,
his stringed instrument,
Yudhishthira,
Yudhishthira,
Maharaja Yudhishthira,
Maharaja Yudhishthira,
Vacha,
Vachara,
instructions,
instructions,
Tasya,
Tasya,
of his,
of his,
Hridi Kritva,
Vedi Kritva,
keeping in the heart,
keeping in the heart,
Ajahat,
Ajahat,
Keva,
Geva,
Sucha,
Sucha,
all lamentations.
all lamentations.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace of Nārada Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Spoken thus, the great sage Nārada, along with his Veena, ascended into outer space. Anyone who desires to see Nārada Muni must first be pious and follow in the footsteps of Nārada Muni. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of first canto, 13th chapter of Shrimadbhagavatam, entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Salivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamsta He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshata Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome back to ISKCON Detroit Dev Sadan Mandir Shrimadbhagavatam reading. So today reading from Canto 1 Chapter 13 Dhritarashtra Quits Home, Text 60. Let us go through translation once again. Having spoken thus, the great sage Nārada, along with his Veena, ascended into outer space. Yudhishthira kept his instruction in his heart and so was able to get rid of all lamentations. So, yesterday we have seen how Vidura, who is being affected with delight and grief, all mixed emotions at once, will then leave that place of sacred pilgrimage upon seeing the departure of his elder brother Dhritarashtra and his wife Gandhari. Vidura was so affected with both delight and grief. Delight as he got liberation, and grief that his brother is no more in this material world. And now then he travels to other pilgrimage from there on. Nārada Muni just conveying how he has just been visualizing how a person will be just standing there and visualizing the scene. He was just narrating the scene to Pandavas and all the assembled people over Hastinapura. So today, as everything got sorted and Vidura left other sacred pilgrimage, now Nārada Muni is started ascending into his outer space, and he gave his instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and Yudhishthira Maharaj, we'll see today how he kept his instruction in his heart, and upon that he was able to get rid of all lamentations. So this verse comes at a very emotional moment in the life of Yudhishthira Maharaj. His uncle Dhritarashtra has just left the world, and at the right time, Nārada Muni appears, he instructs, and after that, when everything gets completed, the things go in a right way, then he gives his proper instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj so as to how and what he has to act accordingly. And he leaves immediately to his outer space. And this verse captures the departure of a pure devotee, the transformation of a sincere listener, and the secret of freedom from lamentation. So today, it's also an auspicious day of Mohini Ekadashi. Today we will see the glories of Mohini Ekadashi after we discuss Shrimadbhagavatam. So, firstly we discuss mainly who is Nārada Muni and how he is the ideal spiritual messenger. And next we see why did Yudhishthira Maharaj stop lamenting, and power of internalizing knowledge. How instruction coming from a saintly personality, pure devotee of the Lord can change everyone. So, practical application in our life from hearing to transformation. So first comes first is Nārada Muni, who is the perfect spiritual traveler and preacher. Nārada Muni is not an ordinary person. He is one of the Mahajan, and he is eternal, and he is free to travel anywhere. He is spiritually empowered by Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And Nārada Muni received the spiritual body by association. We have seen in previous chapters how Nārada Muni in his previous lifetime as a son of a maid servant has got he associated with saintly personalities, sages, and upon his association with them only for a limited time, but still he got the essence of that association, and he served all of them very nicely. They were impressed and they bestowed their true blessings upon Nārada Muni. And after that, even his mother left his body, but still he was determined and he was focused on doing his sadhana and attaining his spiritual body. So, we see how he got transformation from low birth to highest spiritual perfection. Now we know like how Nārada Muni travels from one place to other in just split second or flashlight speed. Because if he appears just here for a moment, then next moment he can travel to Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan. And even spiritual planets or material planets to other universes, anywhere he can travel in just split second. Because he got this benediction from Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and he's a great traveler and he's a great preacher actually. And we should all understand that spiritual advancement is not just about birth or some education or qualification or some technology. It's not something like this. It is about association and sincerity towards service to Lord Supreme Lord Sri Shrimadhava Kunjbihari. Because association of saintly personalities and pure devotees of the Lord gives us a great amount of knowledge, as well as their own life example. They give us like how to act in a good way and how to make our life successful and how to become a Goswami or a Vaishnava by just looking upon them, by following in their footsteps. We can be more and more purified. So I would like to quote a small analogy over here. It's like Wi-Fi, like we all use how Wi-Fi and a direct connection. So this mechanical process of we traveling to other planets, like by various means like spaceship or rockets or everything, it's like a weak Wi-Fi signal. But bhakti, which is like a direct connection, like the fiber optics, and we all see like Ethernet cables. How fast is it? Like it's more than Wi-Fi, and because it has a direct connection, and also it's the speed of the network is higher and bandwidth is higher. So bhakti is similar to kind of that. We directly associate with the Lord, and when we know we stay in just a tiny fragment of part of material world. As we all know how many millions and millions of universes are being emitted from Krishna. So from Vishnu. So when we directly associate with Krishna or Vishnu form, then we not only can be part of this universe, but when we travel to spiritual planet, like when we get back to the spiritual kingdom, we even get some of the benedictions that many saintly people like Nārada Muni and other people get. So it's when we reach there, we don't have any interest about traveling there, traveling here. We all strive to please Krishna. How Krishna would be pleased. If I do this, he will be pleased, or if I do that, he will be pleased. We will be questioning ourselves, and there are like enormous opportunities. Everything is animate over there. Rock, sand, grass, everything has got life in it, and everything is serving Krishna in a very better way. And Nārada, who is always connected to divine network, Jai Shri Shrimadhava Kunjbihari, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baldev, Jai Subramanian, Jai Shri Sri Jai. So Nārada is always like connected to divine network. Like he has a direct connection with the Lord. Like even when Lord has appeared in this material world in Dwaraka, Nārada Muni visited Dwaraka and has seen the Supreme Lord's power of he expanded the forms in 16,000 forms. So Nārada Muni he could go to one house and just immediately goes to other house, but in both houses Supreme Lord is present over there. He was amazed by that. So as we see in the purport, like Srila Prabhupada mentions that one can approach any planet in unlimited space within no time by spiritual knowledge, not just by mechanical means like owning a spaceship or traveling in spaceship. See how much limitation you can travel. It's just permitted to universe, maximum to galaxy. Not even universe, it's just permissible to just a simple galaxy. So instead, if we try to follow the footsteps of pure devotees like Nārada Muni and many saintly personalities, Mahajanas and everyone, we slowly try to elevate ourselves from this material world back to spiritual world, and we get more and more purified by taking more and more association. We will learn many things gradually from associating with pure devotees. Even for a slightest moment of association of pure devotees can save us from great fear, and can save us from even greatest fear, death also. Because that one moment is been like you will be acquiring much and much spiritual credit that we don't even have an idea of how much we get out of it. We can just think like, oh, I just stayed for a few minutes, I just took few minutes darshan of the pure devotees. But that creates a good impression in you, and eventually you will be more and more attracted, and you will be more and more, you wanted to have their darshan, you wanted to speak with them, you wanted to share your views, and you wanted to know more and more about Krishna consciousness. And that is more auspicious, and that is more pleasing to Krishna as well. When a person takes shelter of his pure devotees, then Krishna will be more pleased than that pure devotee. So that pure devotee who gives us the shelter and who shows us the pathway to Krishna, he is more and more dear to Krishna. So next comes is like Yudhishthira's transformation from grief to clarity. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, like we see from previous verses, how he was lamenting and how he was grieving. Because he lost his uncle Dhritarashtra and his aunt Gandhari, and now Vidura, we don't know to what place he's been traveling again. So he was emotionally disturbed, and he was little attached to his family. He's a king and he's a protector of that, he's elder person, like he's a caretaker of that family. Even if we have in our home elderly people, we usually take care of them nicely, and we usually give them whatever we can give, the best ones that we can give, the best facilities we can provide to them, so that they will be in an enjoying mood, in a peaceful mood, and they will be doing their whatever activities that they are doing, like in our old age, like spiritual activities or whatever they should lead a peaceful life, and like that. So he took care of them very nicely, but now they left the palace, and everything got distorted, and he was emotionally disturbed as well, Yudhishthira Maharaj. So the difference between here is because Nārada Muni, as soon as he came, he visualized the scene. Along with that, he started giving some instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Oh, Yudhishthira Maharaj, this is what happens, this is what it is, and the time, eternal time, how he is the Supreme Lord, and it's like a freedom from Maya, like how we can get rid of Maya. And he was sharing all the spiritual knowledge and instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And upon taking those instructions to the heart, and we can say how we can say the difference between just hearing and internalizing, like taking it to heart. Hearing just gives temporary relief. It may stay for some little amount of time, that may be little effective on for some time. But if you try to take it inside, if you try to imbibe those whatever the knowledge that you have acquired, if you try to acquire and if you try to practice whatever the instructions that have been given, that from the pure devotees, you slowly start realizing, oh, this is what it is. If I do this, I will be much more better in my perspective. If I do this, I will be much more engaged in the service. If I do this, I will be more associating with new people, and I will be getting more and more interactions with many people. So slowly you will observe the change. You will get through the permanent transformation. You will experience the permanent transformation, because you are following the instructions of pure devotee of Krishna. Then Krishna, we should think like Krishna himself is giving that instruction through that medium of Guru or pure devotees to us. So it's very important to take the instructions properly and try to follow it. And some basic example, like basic analogy is like when you visit a doctor, when you're suffering from disease or some fever or something, he gives you, he says just go and buy medicine. He writes prescription and he gives to you, and he says just go and buy medicine. And if you just hear it, okay, doctor said this, that's done. Is it done? You have to go and you have to afford those medicines, and then you have to come to home and you start taking that medicine pills, whatever that prescribed drug is being prescribed. Whenever you use it inside, then only it starts effectively working out for you and in curing the disease. Until and unless you take that medicine, your disease won't be cured. It's like that. So buying medicine, if you think just buying medicine, it's just like hearing the knowledge. But if you actually take it, when you take it inside, then it starts its action fighting the disease causing agents, and then you will be cured fastly. So many people, they know who is God and what is the Bhagavad Gita, what is the message shared in Bhagavad Gita. They have that spiritual knowledge, but they don't dare enough to apply it. Something or the other, they may have some things like, I can't keep so many restrictions on me. I can't do this, I can't do that. I have to go this, I have to go there, I have to travel here, I have to travel there. But they don't understand the importance. They understand theoretically okay, this is this. So, but until and unless you take it into the heart and you start applying, okay, it's doing some transformation in me. I have been experiencing it since long time. So even though they are suffering for a long time, they don't want to take up this and they don't want to be restricted. I don't want to be restricted, I want to be free. But at the end of the day, you will be suffering, right? But even though if you are free, if you have to do anything, God gave you free will, but not just to, it's simply if you have free will, would you go and drink poison using that free will? No, right? We will, you have that intelligence to apply. So what to do, what not to do, and how to be better progress in my spiritual journey, and how not to get distracted by any material afflictions or material tensions. So here we see Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he was being instructed by Nārada Muni, he did not argue, he did not delay, or he did not rationalize. He just accepted as it is immediately. He reflected deeply and he applied it sincerely, so that he was able to get rid of all those lamentations. Because see, even if in our family, very dear ones, if we lose them, or if they leave their body, how much pain you will be suffering through. There will be a lot of pain. Then if a pure devotee of Lord Supreme Lord Sri Krishna or saintly personalities visit our house, they give us some spiritual knowledge, and they want us to get out of those lamentation. They want us to be engaging in the service of the Lord, so that when we understand that, when we take it, initially you may not understand completely, but if you have some faith in it, the instruction or the person like who is sharing saintly personality, slowly if you start practicing it day by day, after a few days you may observe a change, like, okay, I'm doing things in better way, so why can't I follow sincerely, and why can't I have faith in Krishna, in his plan, so that you will be engaging more and you will be getting out of those sufferings or pains. So transformation begins when instruction moves from ears to heart. That's where, when you try to apply it, when you try to follow the instructions of spiritual master and also many pure devotees of the Lord. And then now comes is like application. So one may question like, how can we apply it, like from hearing to living? So Yudhishthira Maharaj is just representing all of us over there. Like he's a great devotee of the Lord, but still he acted in such a way that he got lamentation and he got distress, just because in order for us to understand, okay, in that situation how we have to deal with, how ideally we have to deal with that situation. So he is facing loss, anxiety and confusion, like what to do next. I don't know what to do. They left the palace. I'm worried, like how they would be managing their shelter, how they would be managing food, clothing, etc. Because they did not take anything with them. They just left the palace as is. Whatever they are, they just left it. So the practical steps that we can follow to inculcate this hearing to living, like practical steps that can be followed is like, we should hear from authentic sources. We should not hear from some unrecognized or unbona fide sources. Like there are many sources in YouTube nowadays. Like everyone is like open to start a channel and post their videos. We don't know how much authenticity they have, but if we have to check the authenticity of the lecture or something they share, the knowledge that they share, we have to cross-check with the scriptures once, and if they give any reference, you have to go through it and you have to make sure you go through properly, and then if you have a doubt, like you can ask your senior devotees as well who has been practicing for a long time. They can share you like, okay, Prabhu, these are the authentic sources. These are the these are non-authentic. Like they don't have any base, like no baseless clues like that. Because it will be effective only when you hear from a proper channel. And why? Because if we take a small example, like two students are studying for an exam. One hears from authentic source from his lecturer or from a YouTube lecture which is very authentic or proper channel that is being posted. The other one who may not understand the class properly, so he takes help of YouTube video or something other source which is not authentic, but he don't know the authenticity of it. So both of them have attempted exam and both of them have felt like they attempted it very well. The first person who took the knowledge from authentic source like his faculty or some textbooks or proper source, he presented it in a very beautiful way and very accurately he presented his paper. But the other one who took the knowledge from other source. He don't know authenticity, and whatever he has heard from there, he just put that into the picture, which is not accurate and which caused him even to fail in that exam. He was surprised, like, oh, I have heard this, but why did I not get the full marks? And why I got failed in the exam? And he went to the professor and he asked about it, like, what happened? Why is this like this? Why you like failed me? And he was saying, like, whatever, I don't know, like whatever you wrote, that is been not correct. Like, I don't know from what source you have taken. I did not say this in the class or even in the textbooks. There is nothing mentioned like this. So then he realized, like, oh, I took it. He revealed to his lecturer or teacher that he took this information from other source, where there are some discrepancies in that lessons or something, so that the same discrepancies have been presented in the paper. So he got a result as failed. So we have to understand the importance of authenticity, and we have to reflect deeply. Like, we have to constantly meditate upon the instructions that we get, whatever the instructions that we receive from senior devotees or from the spiritual master, so that if we constantly remember and go through it, we can slowly get to a point where you will be following it without any external follow-up from anyone. Like, now initially we may experience, like, for chanting rounds also, our mentors or senior devotees used to remind us, Prabhu, how is your sadhana and all. But after a few days, when you got habituated, you will be chanting on your own without any force. Like, no one says you, oh Prabhu, chant today, chant next day. No one says you will automatically chant. So that's why, like, if you try to follow sincerely the instructions coming, then your life will be successful, and also it will be a good lesson that we can take from them. And the main important thing, as we have yesterday seen, like, we should avoid offenses, Vaishnava aparadh, we should avoid it. So this is what I want to share today, and the few key takeaways is, like, association determines elevation. It's like, if you try to struggle and if you try to make endeavors in this path, it will be like climbing a staircase. And if you try to take association guidance from seniors or spiritual master, it will be like elevator. We may understand how staircase is very slow and how elevator is very fast. So similarly, if we try to take association and guidance, we'll be elevating fastly in our spiritual life. So just hearing is not enough, and internalization, like taking it into the heart and applying it, is required, which is even for me also. Many instructions I have to follow sincerely, but still trying, so by Krishna's mercy. So if we make little endeavor, like little efforts on that, Krishna will make sure, like, we follow it sincerely, because he helps a person, like, who is trying to be very sincere in the path of spiritual Krishna consciousness, and which leads him back to Godhead journey. So spiritual knowledge removes suffering, and also follow the footprints or footsteps of great acharyas like Nārada Muni and many pure devotees of the Lord. It's not a mechanical advancement, but it's a spiritual transformation that you're gonna observe. And today, being the auspicious day of Mohini Ekadashi, we'll go through the glories of Mohini Ekadashi. So, glories of Mohini Ekadashi. Sri Maharaj Yudhishthira said, O Janardana, what is the name of Ekadashi that occurs during the light fortnight, Shukla Paksha of the month of Vaishakha, April-May? What is the process of observing it properly? Kindly narrate all these details to me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, replied, O blessed son of Dharma, what Vasistha Muni once told to Lord Ramachandra, I shall now describe to you. Please hear me attentively. Lord Ramachandra asked Vasistha Muni, O great sage, I would like to hear about the best of all fasting days, that day which destroys all kinds of sins and sorrows. I have suffered long enough in separation from my dear Sita, and so I wish to hear from you about how my suffering can be ended. The sage Vasistha replied, O Lord Rama, O you whose intelligence is so keen, simply by remembering your name, one can cross the ocean of material world. You have questioned me in order to benefit all of the humanity and fulfill everyone's desires. I shall now describe the day of fasting which purifies the whole world. O Rama, that day is known as Vaishakha Shukla Ekadashi, which falls on Dvadashi. It removes all sins and is famous as Mohini Ekadashi. Truly, O dear Rama, the merit of this Ekadashi frees the fortunate soul who observes it from the network of illusion. Therefore, if you want to relieve your sufferings, observe this auspicious Ekadashi perfectly, for it removes all obstacles from one's path and relieves the greatest miseries. Kindly listen as I describe its glories, because for one who even just hears about this auspicious Ekadashi, the greatest sins are nullified. Oh wow, just by hearing. On the banks of Saraswati river, there was once a beautiful city named Bhadravati, which was ruled by King Dyutiman. O Rama, that steadfast, truthful and highly intelligent king was born in the dynasty of the moon, Chandravamsha. In his kingdom was a merchant named Dhanapala, who possessed a great deal of wealth of food grains and money. He was also very pious. Dhanapala arranged for lakes to be dug, sacrificial arenas to be erected, and beautiful gardens to be cultivated for the benefit of all citizens of Bhadravati. He was an excellent devotee of Lord Vishnu and had 5 sons, Sumana, Dyutiman, Medhavi, Sukriti, and Drishtabuddhi. Unfortunately, his son Drishtabuddhi always engaged in greatly sinful activities, such as sleeping with prostitutes and associating with similar degraded persons. He enjoyed illicit sex, gambling, and many other varieties of acts aimed at gratifying the senses. He disrespected the demigods, devas, the Brahmins, the forefathers, and other elders of the community, as well as his family guests. The evil-hearted Drishtabuddhi spent up his father's wealth indiscriminately, always feasting on untouchable foods and drinking alcohol to excess. One day, Dhanapala kicked Drishtabuddhi out of the house after he saw him walking along the road arm in arm with a known prostitute. From then on, all Drishtabuddhi's relatives were highly critical of him and distanced themselves from him also. After he had sold all of his inherited ornaments and become destitute, the prostitute also abandoned him and insulted him because of his poverty. Drishtabuddhi was now full of anxiety and also hungry. He thought, what should I do? Where should I go? How can I maintain myself? He then began to steal. The king's constables arrested him, but when they learned who it was and that his father was the famous Dhanapala, they released him. He was caught and released in this way many times, but at last, sick of his arrogance and total disrespect for others and their poverty, the ill-mannered Drishtabuddhi was apprehended, handcuffed, and then beaten. After whipping him, the king's marshal warned him, O evil-minded one, there is no place for you in this kingdom. However, Drishtabuddhi was freed from his tribulation by his father and immediately thereafter entered the dense forest. He wandered here and there, hungry, thirsty, and suffering greatly. Eventually, he began killing the jungle animals, the lions, the deer, boars, and even wolves for food. Always ready in his hand was his bow, and always on his shoulder was quiver full of arrows. He also killed many birds such as chakoras, peacocks, kankas, doves, and pigeons. he unhesitatingly slaughtered many species of bird and animals to maintain his sinful way of life. The sinful results accumulating more and more each day. On account of his previous sins, he was now immersed in an ocean of great sin that was so relentless that it appeared that he could not get out. Drishtabuddhi was always miserable and anxious, but one day, during the month of Vaishaka, by the force of some of his past merit, he chanced upon the sacred ashrama of Kaundinya Muni. The great sage had just finished bathing in the Ganges river, and water was dripping from his still. Drishtabuddhi had the great good fortune to touch some of these droplets of water that were falling from the great sage's wet clothing. Instantly, Drishtabuddhi was freed of his ignorance and his sinful reactions were reduced. Offering his humble obeisances to Kaundinya Muni, Drishtabuddhi prayed to him with jointed palms. O great Brahmana, please describe to me some of the atonement I may perform with too much endeavor. I have committed so many sins in my life, and these have now made me very poor. The great Rishi replied, O son, listen with great attention. For you, by hearing me, your life will change, and you will become free of all your remaining sins. In the light fortnight of this very month, Vaishaka, April-May, there occurs the sacred Mohini Ekadashi, which has the power to nullify sins as vast and weighty as Mount Sumeru. Wow. If you follow my advice and faithfully observe a fast on this Ekadashi, which is so dear to Lord Hari, you will be freed from all the sinful reactions of many births. Hearing these words with great joy, Drishtabuddhi promised to observe fast on Mohini Ekadashi according to Sage's instructions and direction. O best of kings, O Ramachandra Bhagavan, by fasting completely on Mohini Ekadashi, the once sinful Drishtabuddhi, the prodigal son of the merchant Dhanapala, became sinless. Afterwards, he achieved a beautiful transcendental form and free at last of all obstacles, rode upon the carrier of Lord Vishnu, Garuda, to the supreme abode of the Lord. O Ramachandra, the fast day of Mohini Ekadashi removes the darkest illusory attachments to material existence. Thus, there is no better fast day in all three worlds than this, Lord Sri Krishna concluded. And so, O Yudhishthira, there is no place of pilgrimage, no sacrifice, and no charity that can bestow merit equal to 1/16th of the merit of a faithful devotee of mine obtains by observing the Mohini Ekadashi. And he who hears and studies the glories of Mohini Ekadashi achieves the merit of giving 1,000 cows in charity. Jai. Thus ends the narration of glories of Vaishaka Shukla Ekadashi of Mohini Ekadashi from the Kurma Purana. Mohini Ekadashi ki Jai. Hare Krishna. If anyone have any questions, comments?
Nice class, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. See, here also we see the example how this Drishtabuddhi took this instruction and he followed his sage's instruction. Then he got into spiritual abode and Lord Carrier, Garuda came to take him back to spiritual planet. So we have to understand the importance of following the instructions. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Grantraj Shrimadbhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.